Hello and welcome to part 4, or the last part I should say, of my 48-hour island challenge. We are halfway through hour 36 and boy do we have some work to do. Now I did forget to record an intro for this video, but what you're seeing here is I'm just running around placing all of the buildings and remaining houses to where I want them to go. So after doing some time travelling to get all of the flowers that I need, it is time to get stuck into it. I'm working on this area out the front of Nooks and I'm extending the meadow from the left side of the island and following it all the way to the right. I do need to start off by cleaning up the area though, because this island is just a total mess. Anywhere that I have got spare space, I have got stuff dumped on the ground. I go through and I place the fencing and then I chuck down some custom codes. In my opinion, custom codes can really make or break an area, but I don't really have any rhyme or reason when it comes to placing them. I just put them down anywhere. Just about everything I do actually is just completely random and I make it up as I go along. But after placing a few bits and pieces and putting a few flowers here and there across the front, it is time to start planting all of the flower seeds for the meadow. This is really boring, so I'm just going to skip it so you don't have to watch it. And we're all done. The next area I'm going to be working on is Nook's Cranny. One thing I always love to do with the shop is to kind of make it look like they're getting a delivery or they're having a sidewalk sale or something like that. It is such an easy thing to do. All you need to do is place down a few codes and a few flowers. If you have the truck item, you can make it look like they're getting a delivery. If you don't, all you need to do is just put a heap of random items outside to make it look like they're having a sale. It is super easy and super effective. Now I'm just going to quickly show you what I've done with the cliff top here next to Nook's Cranny. I have just decorated it the same as I have done with the cliffs at the back of the island. I just kind of forgot that it was here and I didn't do it in my last video. Now I'm going to be working on the area here behind Nook's Cranny. I'm going to turn the pond into a small fishing area and then next to it I'm going to have a community garden with a heap of random vegetables in it. During my many time traveling times, I came across the DIY for the scarecrow, which is going to be perfect for this build. Another item that would have been perfect for this build is the barrel. Unfortunately, for this whole entire series, I did not come across the DIY for that item. A travesty. Honestly, a good garden or a farm build just isn't complete without at least 12 to 15 barrels. I did however find the wooden box DIY, which is another great item. I also added in some custom designs to the transition areas, but that was a little bit boring, so I cut all of that out, but I think the garden turned out pretty cute. Now moving on to the fishing spot, I quickly plant a few flowers, but then I need to order some stuff and do, you guessed it, more time traveling. I also placed down a couple of extra pieces that I got for the garden area. But for this fishing spot, I just wanted to have a few random chairs and stuff like that. Just some things lying around to make it look like people were actually fishing here. I found the shop front at Nook's Cranny at some point, which I was really excited about. So I placed that down and we're just going to pretend that that's a bait shop. really happy with how this turned out, considering I didn't really have that much room to work with and it was kind of an awkward shape. I think the area still turned out pretty good. I've now moved on to the spot that is next to the vegetable patch. I'm going to be building a cherry orchard. I had this empty space here and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it. I didn't have an orchard planned at this point, so I figured why not just put one here. I know I said in my last video the cliff tops were the only place on the island that I have red flowers. I kind of forgot about this. One thing I always like to do when I'm decorating with fruit trees is to colour coordinate. So if you have pears, use green. Apples or cherries, use red. In the past I have built an orange home business, I suppose you could say, for Tangy, and a peach cafe / shop for another villager. There are so many different items that you could use and it doesn't even need to make sense. I mean, it's Animal Crossing. Nothing has to make sense. Plus, now that we have all of these food items, there are so many ideas that you could do. Apple picking, a juice bar, a fruit and vegetable store. You could even do a whole farm where it is dedicated to just one fruit. I would have preferred apples for my build, which honestly I think is the best fruit in the game, but I guess cherries will have to do. Before I started on the next build, I did have a bit of cleaning that I had to do, so I went and got rid of all of the flowers that I wasn't going to be using. Next is a before and after of the museum. I just kept it nice and simple and very quick because time is ticking. I'm now going to be working on this area here for Broccolo and I'm going to be building him a playground. After downloading some custom designs and then going to Harv's Island, it is finally time to get started. I was so excited to work on this area. I was originally going to be building the playground on the cliff that is next to Nook's Cranny, but I couldn't find anywhere where I wanted to put an incline, so I decided to put it here instead. I really enjoy doing kidcore builds because it isn't something that I would normally do. I had the urge recently to do an entire kidcore island, so I started an island called Blossom, and I hunted for the cutest villagers. I built a really cute entrance. I spent days working on it, and then I was like, I'm bored, and I deleted the island. Honestly, I think I have a bit of a problem. The only time I can complete an island is if I'm making content for it. You know, if you've been around long enough, you know even then, I don't always finish it. Anyway, back to the build. I had so much fun doing this area. I loved using all of the bright colours, but it is a shame that I didn't have any hybrid flowers to put in here. I think some pinks and greens would have looked really good, but I can't complain about how it turned out. It's cute. Well, I think so anyway. I also done some work on Broccolo's front yard and the surrounding spaces while I was here. I cut it out because it was really just me running around, not really knowing what I was doing. It was all a bit of a mess, really. And here we have a before and after shot of what I've done with the Able Sisters store. I realised that I hadn't put my house anywhere, so I put it over on the peninsula and just done a few simple decorations. And now we have another quick before and after shot. This is the back left hand corner of the island. I didn't really know what to do here and I needed to fill up some space, so I built a construction area to the best of my abilities anyway. And now we are on to the last build of the island. In this area I'm going to be putting Eugene and Leopold. The only problem is that it is an absolute mess. So I get stuck into cleaning and I'm quietly panicking at this point because time is running out. Yeah, panicked. So I've cleaned most of this area up. I'm going to move these crops over to the left and build a little vegetable patch, and then, you know, we're just going to get stuck right into it. Now, when I tell you at this point I was freaking out, I did not think that I was going to get this island finished. There was just no way. I only had a small area left to do, but I did have to move 2 houses, so that meant more time traveling. And then I had to decorate. I mean, I had no idea what I was going to do for these 2 front yards. Not only was I running out of time, but I was also running out of items. It was just me panicking, like, the whole time. I was so tense. I was just sitting there like a little office goblin, staring at my screen, frantically smashing buttons on my controller, and then swearing at myself every time I made a mistake. And there were a lot of mistakes. I mean, whose idea was this? Who says to themselves, you know those Animal Crossing islands that people spend months and months working on? Let's build one in 2 days. I says that. That was me. Anyway, back to the build. I decided to use the mini cards for this area because I was really excited when I found them in my Nook shopping, but then I never actually used them anywhere on the island. I don't know how they got here. I don't know where they're going, because there are no roads on this island, but like I said earlier, it doesn't have to make sense. So one house has a car with some groceries and stuff to make it look like they just got back from shopping, and the other house, and I mean the other house because I don't know whose house is whose, has a broken down car that they're working on. And I was really annoyed at myself because I didn't realise until it was too late that the houses aren't actually lined up. The one on the left is 1 space off, and there was no way I had enough time to go time travelling again. It really hurt my brain, but it is just going to have to stay that way. I was originally going to be doing a different build for this area. When Leopold first moved to my island, I was pretty annoyed about it, but someone in the comments mentioned how they had him on HHP and they built him a little bookshop, and I thought that was a really cool idea. I was kind of gonna steal it, but unfortunately I didn't find any of the book DIYs. I think I found the tiny library, but I didn't find the stack of books and I didn't find the bookshelf, so that idea didn't really pan out. So I was running around frantically decorating and planting flowers, and then I had to time travel a couple of days so that everything would grow. And then with 1 minute and 8 seconds to go, I am done. I completed an island in 48 hours. It's finished. I cannot believe it. Now, when I say I'm done, I mean I'm like mostly done, like 99.99% done. I do need to go around and clean up my beaches because they are still a mess, and I need to do my island flag. Spoiler alert, I used a custom design of a vegetable basket that I had already downloaded because apparently looking for a picture of a sunflower was too difficult. Anyway, the island is finished. I am so proud of myself for getting it done, and I just love the way that it turned out. It was super stressful and I could have been a lot more organised, but you know what? Sometimes it doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get there. By the way, these island shots that you're seeing right now, feel free to consider this the tour of the island. I'm not really good at doing island tours, so ta-da! Here you go. But I will leave the DA in the description below if you would like to go and check it out yourself. If you do, let me know. I'm on Insta, I'm on Twitter. Yes, Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Feel free to @ me if you do happen to visit. But look, so I'm done. I'm going to get ready to start on my next island, so sunflower is going to be deleted soon, and hopefully the idea that I have for my next project is going to work. So if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!